Hey y'all, and welcome to today's What's for Dinner. I've got 3 easy weeknight meals for you today, whether it's for a family of 4 or 5, or if it's just for 2 of you and you just want some leftovers for the next day or for lunch. First up, we have pork chops and fried potatoes. Now, I don't know about you, but I could eat potatoes every day with every single meal. But this is a very simple dinner idea. First, I'm going to go ahead and take 4 bone-in pork chops. I'm going to lay those out and start to get those seasoned. Now, sometimes I like these breaded. Sometimes I just like them fried. Sometimes I like them baked. But today I'm just going to go ahead and season these really good, give them a light coating of flour and put them on the skillet. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use some garlic salt and some Kinder's caramelized onion butter seasoning. That is a mouthful, but this stuff is absolutely delicious. I think everything with the Kinder's line is just so yummy. If you've not tried it yet, you definitely need to go out and grab you some. Pretty much everything that they have in their line you can find at Walmart. But I'm just going to go ahead and get both sides of these pork chops seasoned, and with the flour, I'm going to go ahead and put the same seasonings in there as well, just so I can give them a really nice coat. I also sometimes just like to have pork chops with salt and pepper. I feel like it's something just basic like that really brings out the flavor in the meat. But that is the good thing about cooking and baking. You can definitely do this however you want to. Design it around your family's taste and flavor. You can add whatever seasonings you want in here. I also love how versatile pork chops are. A lot of people eat pork chops for breakfast with biscuits or eggs. Also, you can pair pretty much any kind of sides with pork chops and it's going to be delicious. As I mentioned, we're going to have fried potatoes with our pork chops today, but I'm also going to have a little bit of cheesy pasta on the side. Again, anything with potatoes, cheese, or pasta is hands down #1 in my book. Definitely can go down as one of my most favorite comfort meals. So once you have all of your pork chops breaded, you're going to go ahead and add those to your preheated skillet with a little bit of oil. I also add a little bit of butter to mine as well, and you're going to have that over medium-high heat until those are cooked through. So now onto the potatoes. We like to dice ours up just a little bit on the smaller side. That way they get cooked evenly and a little bit more quicker. One tip that I will share with you guys, when I cut the potatoes up, I like to go ahead and soak those in some water for a little bit. That way they just cook up a lot nicer. And if you have the time, go ahead and boil those potatoes first for about 5 or 10 minutes. That is going to make these super delicious as well. But in a big skillet, we're just going to go ahead and add about an inch of oil and have that also on medium to high heat. Add your potatoes, salt and pepper, however you would like to season those. Make sure you keep an eye on them. Make sure you keep stirring them around so that they don't burn. And it's not going to take long at all for these to cook. And so on the side, I went ahead and took a little bit of an easy route. We love these Knorr sides, especially the cheddar broccoli. I always like to doctor these up and add just a little bit more of my own cheese. Of course, it always ends up being a lot more than I anticipated, but who doesn't love cheese, right? You can also add some seasonings to that pasta as well, just to make it your own. But this is how this dinner turned out. It was so delicious, and we did have a little bit of leftovers for the next day as well. Next up, we have chili, and we don't make this in any kind of crazy way, but we do add V8 spicy hot juice to ours. It just gives it a really nice flavor. We're also not huge tomato fans, so we just use 1 can of petite diced tomatoes, 2 cans of dark red kidney beans, and 2 cans of light red kidney beans, and then we also just add 1 package of chili seasoning to that as well. And of course, just a little bit of salt and pepper. So you're just going to go ahead and add all of those ingredients to your stock pot. And on the side, you're going to go ahead and brown your hamburger. Go ahead and drain that and then add that to the mix. I like to do this both ways, either on the stovetop or in a crock pot. In a crock pot, you can absolutely let that just simmer and get all of those flavors marinated with each other. But if you're in a quick pinch, this doesn't take long at all. You can really just have this made in probably less than 20 or 25 minutes. On the side, I went ahead and made some of these little cornbread swirl muffins by Pillsbury. These are delicious. I love these so stinking much. But another thing that I like about the chili is you can make this so many different ways. Again, with these little cornbread muffins, or you can also use just plain saltine crackers. We also like to eat ours with Fritos, and Ruben also likes to use Doritos with his chili too. And I know it kind of sounds crazy, but it does taste delicious. Of course, on the top, we add all of our fixins, which is any kind of cheese that we have in the house, and some sour cream. Of course, this is probably one of my favorite meals for fall as well, and we always have leftovers of this. Chili and I think spaghetti are two of the biggest things that I love to eat leftovers. For some reason, I just really feel like they taste better the next day. And with fall being here now, make sure you guys come back because I'm going to have so many yummy fall recipes. You're going to be sick of it. So many crockpot ideas. It's just going to be so much fun. But this is how the chili turned out. I probably ate 2 bowls of this. It was so good. And lastly, I've got slow cooker Olive Garden chicken and pasta. I'm pretty sure that there's probably 10,000 different names for this, but that's pretty much what this is. It is chicken and pasta with the Olive Garden flavor. So to my crock pot, I went ahead and added a liner because I'm not about that crock pot cleanup life. I also had 2 huge chicken breasts. Now, if you've got smaller chicken breasts, you could probably do 3. That would be perfectly fine. And the Olive Garden dressing is delicious, but I'm trying to do this stuff on a budget, and Walmart actually has their own brand of this dressing, and I'm here to tell you that it tastes exactly the same. It is so good and flavorful. But after you pour your dressing on top of your chicken, you're going to go ahead and add an entire block of cream cheese. I know, it seems like a lot, but I promise, trust the process and just keep going. After you add that big old block of cream cheese, you're going to add half a bag of this Parmesan shredded cheese and lots of pepper. Now, I don't add any more salt to this because there's enough salt in that cheese and in the dressing. Promise you there's going to be tons of flavor. You're not going to miss the salt in this, but do make sure that you add pepper. It just brings all the flavors together and it makes it delicious. So once you have all of this together, you're going to go ahead and add your lid, and then you're going to put this on high for 4 hours. You can definitely do this on low for 6, but if you're in a time crunch, you can definitely do this for 4 hours. So after you've gotten to about your, 3 hours and 45-minute mark, go ahead and get your pasta started on the stove. Rotini is the only thing that I had left in the house. Usually I like to use penne. It just kind of holds all that flavor together in those noodles, but the rotini pasta does that as well. So after you've gotten your pasta on the pot to boil, go ahead and take your chicken out. It is so tender, it's just going to fall apart before you probably even get it to your plate. But you're going to go ahead and just take 2 forks and get this all shredded up, and then you're going to go ahead and add that right back into your crock pot. Now, don't be alarmed. Your crock pot is going to look very greasy, but that is all of the oil from the cheese and that dressing that's just been sitting in that pot for 4 hours, just cooking and cooking. But this chicken is so incredibly tender. You probably wouldn't even need to take it out of the crock pot to shred it. You could probably just do it right there. But I like to take mine out and make sure that I don't have big, huge chunks in there, but that's okay too. If you like big hunks of chicken, you can definitely leave that in there. So you're going to go ahead and add that back in, give that a really good stir, and then add your pasta. I will give you one tip. Depending on how soupy or thick you're going to like this pasta, it's going to depend on how much actual pasta that you add to your crock pot. So I ended up using about 2/3 of a box of pasta, and it was the consistency that we like in our house, but you can definitely cater this to your liking as well. After you got your noodles in there, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that bag of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to cover that back up and let that melt for just a few more minutes, and then dinner is done. And I also just added a side of garlic bread to this, but you can use whatever you would like as your side. But I think this is probably one of the most delicious meals that I've had in quite a while, and this is definitely going to be made again in my house. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope this gave you some ideas for your next dinner in your household.